We're about to enter the holy city. Our plan is to stay for several days, find the quartz yamas, and explore the unknown sectors by following one of Marco's trails. But someone else has other plans.
Like a stream.
The next morning, after some well-deserved rest, we start the last several miles of our trek.
Right. Shouldn't be. You said it's not a problem? No.
No, it's quite easy.
We got another day of ups. It should be a lot easier than yesterday. Yesterday was a pain. I was occupied on the trail. You probably saw yesterday. According to Marco, this should only be 2 hours up.
2 or less.
2 or less. And the incline is about 30-40 degrees. So, yeah, I think so. I'm rested.
The hike was still muddy and treacherous in a lot of places.
Hey Dante!
Hi.
Sorisa por la cámara! And he's heading down over there. I gotta walk this way.
Choq'eKiraw significa cuna de oro o cuna de cobre, porque el oro era cori, pero en este caso la pirita tiene similitud al oro. El brillo que tiene acá
¿Sí?
parece mucho al oro. Entonces hay referencias de que esto de acá, Choq'eKiraw, significa pues, la cuna del oro, o bueno, del cobre. Y más allá, la siguiente ruina que está más lejos, que fue descubierta por National Geographic en el 2000 y tanto, se llama Guayrachina.
Guayrachina.
Sí, significa lugar donde el oro se airea, se ventea. Welcome to Choq'eKiraw, my dear friends. Everybody.
We're almost there. That was a hell of a trek. You said this is one of the hardest treks in the world, Marco?
Actually, yeah. Well, if you try to do it in 1 day, yeah, it's gonna be one of the hardest.
Yeah.
You see that andenes? Those andenes over there?
Where? Oh yeah.
The water still uncovered?
Those are the areas that are still uncovered here. We're going to be exploring these parts. The area that's covered is up above, right?
Yep.
This is the city.
And you're going to find another part of the city out there which is still uncovered. All that area.
And we're going to spend some time. Can you point where it is, Marco?
Up there. There's an covered area.
Follow this trail. There's another area here. This is an enormous city. Kind of like Machu Picchu when it was first discovered about. Bigger than Machu Picchu. And it encompasses, hold on, this whole mountain peak here, this whole mountain side, all the way up to the top over there. And if we're lucky, we might find more Inca road that would lead to even more uncovered sites. Alright, let's get moving.
We arrive in the final base camp, where the INC set up its headquarters.
Hey! La comida ya acaba!
We rest, set up camp, and Michael cooks our food. He puts the food bag back into his pack. Now the fun begins. Choq'e Kiraw has a 300-year known history. The rest is lost in the mists of time. It was first introduced to the West in the writings of Cosmo Bueno in 1768, and later it faded into obscurity. In 1834, Eugene de Santiago reintroduced the city, and by 1837 a Frenchman, Lancegrand, mapped a tiny portion of the ruins. It again faded into obscurity until the American Hiram Bingham, the rediscoverer of Machu Picchu, visited the site during an expedition in search of Vilcabamba Vieja, which was reputed to be the last refuge of the Incas. But other than that, very little is really known about Choq'e Kiraw. Fortunately, Marco is an expert in the Incan and pre-Incan civilizations, and there's a reason why we refer to Choq'e Kiraw as a holy city.
Y una pregunta.
Ay,
¿Nunca ellos buscaban algo en esas ventanas?
no, realmente se tendría que hacer un estudio de toda esta zona de acá para ver si es que hay rastros de algo. Pero lo último que sabía era que ponían, usualmente tenían de este tamaño, sí, para tener ídolos o momias adentro.
Yeah.
Hay un ritual en Cusco en el que tenían momias sentadas en cuadrados así de ese tipo. Ponían a sus momias
Yeah.
y una vez al año las sacaban a pasear.
Eso es más sensible porque mis amigas arqueológicas
Ajá.
gringas me dijeron, oh David, ellos pongan sus cosas aquí como
No.
comida, cosas
no.
útiles.
No, hay lugares en los que sí ponían comidas, que eran lugares en los que estaban cerca a los desfiladeros.
Sí.
Y ahí por la entrada, si tú te paras ahí, es como si estuvieras en un refrigerador. El aire entra y sale con una velocidad, entra bastante frío.
Sí.
Y logras preservar la comida ahí. Pero este no es el caso, si te das cuenta estás rodeado de una montaña
Yeah.
y tienes árboles al costado, lo cual no permite el ingreso con esa fluidez al aire.
Entonces aquí fue por gente muerta más o menos.
Aproximadamente, en realidad no se sabe, todos son teorías nada más. Lo que sí
Ok.
te puedo decir es que acá estaba sostenido el techo. Probablemente.
This is the cleaned up, touristed area. Over 95% of the ruin is still covered in cloud forest. The INC didn't start a minimal cleanup and restoration of the ruins until the late 1970s, and the INC didn't have an official presence until 2005. So it wasn't difficult for us to find ruins that no one else had ever seen for thousands of years. Marco's done several separate expeditions into Choq'e Kiraw's unexplored zones, so this time he takes us on his personal secret trail.
There's the remains of a house.
We didn't expect to find part of the city, after thousands of years still functioning. It's an aqueduct tank, full of water.
Maybe,
Or a reservoir.
a blocked one, because that somewhere around there gotta be the exit. I mean the
Exit for the water?
hole there. Por ejemplo, esto de acá es parte de una, mira, ahí tiene su salida de agua. Debe tener salida de agua y por acá debe haber otra.
Debe ser entrada.
We're the first here?
Yeah, welcome.
In how many years? Thousands of years?
South.
Because this is completely off the tourist trail.
Yep,
That's sweet.
complete.
We're surrounded by deadly South American black widow spiders, and they've left their webs. We get out of there real quick.
Okay, we're getting out of here before we get killed. I don't feel like getting bitten by a toxic spider.
It's getting late, and we head back to the base camp. We discover that Michael, who inexplicably decided to leave earlier that day for Cusco, accidentally took our food with him. We're low on food. We already burned a huge number of calories just getting to the site, and there isn't enough food for our group for 19 miles. We have to make a decision on what to do, and soon.